Good afternoon, learners. I'd like all of you guys, girls, take your seats, please. As soon as you're sitting and quiet, I have a nice lesson plan today. It's a very relaxed session, okay? Once you all are silent, and only if you are silent, I will play you guys a video, okay, before the lesson starts. Okay, 3, 2, 1, good. Alright guys, so before I play the video, I just want to give you a quick introduction on the lesson, right? We are looking at the topic of conflict, okay? Do any of you guys know what conflict is? Anyone? Yes, sir. Right. Conflict is an argument. Good. An argument. Anyone else? A disagreement. Good. What else? Both are correct. Anything else? Yes. Okay. Bullying. Bullying can be conflict. Okay, good. Right. All of you are correct so far, right? So conflict can be an argument, can be a disagreement, can be bullying, right? These are all bad things. Now, I just want you guys to understand something. Not all conflict is bad. Conflict is not a negatively connotated, right? A negatively connotated word. Conflict isn't negatively connotated. That means it does not have a bad, well, it is negatively connotated, sorry, but it's not always bad. Okay, so for example, if you hear the word drugs, if you hear the word war, right? They are both negatively connotated words, right? When you hear them, you think of something bad. But if you hear the word peace or you hear the word happiness, you think about something good, right? That's what positive and negatively connotated words are. Now, conflict is a negatively connotated word, but it's not always a bad thing. What if I said that you and your friend are discussing your favorite foods, and one of you says, you know, my favorite food is pizza, and the other one says, my favorite food is sushi, right? That's conflict. Nothing wrong with that, okay? It's a disagreement, but a peaceful disagreement with respect, a conversational disagreement, okay? So it is a conflict, but it's not a bad one. It's a good thing, okay? So I just want you guys to take note of that, right? Now, you've been silent so far. That's good. And I want to keep the silence. I'm going to play you guys a short video, right? Just a quick introduction to the topic, right? And only if you guys are quiet. Okay, so I'm going to play this video at double speed.
What do you think of when you hear the word conflict? Do you think about people having disagreements and arguing, or maybe violent conflicts like riots and wars? Wouldn't the world be a better place without conflict? And what would that world look like? Simply stated, conflict is a struggle between opposing forces. So that means everyone would have to agree with everyone else on everything. Everyone would have the same favorite color, the same favorite foods. They would be into the same sort of music, TV shows and movies, sports and games, which are all about conflict and competition, wouldn't exist at all. For sure, there would be no politics, no violence, no war, but there would also be no diversity, no uniqueness, and no growth. Conflict is simply a part of human nature, which is why throughout history it has been a central element for literature and storytelling. Throughout the next few lessons, we're going to read a number of short stories, poems, and informational texts that will help you analyze how conflict is an essential part of humanity.
Okay, guys, so that was our video on conflict. Okay, so short video, just pointing out a few key aspects about conflict, right? So conflict is necessary for daily life, right? You heard what the guy said. So I know that all of you may have experienced conflict, you know, maybe an argument, maybe a disagreement, right? Whatever answers you gave me is correct. Now, that is an example of conflict, but the main thing that we are here to discuss is how to deal with conflict, okay? We are going to go through examples of conflict. We're going to go through ways to prevent conflict and ways to solve the problem, you know, conflict resolution skills, okay? So before we get to that, let me just, let's see what that guy said, right? I want one of you to tell me one thing you learned about that video. Okay, conflict is necessary because if people didn't have disagreements, they wouldn't have different taste, okay? Complete, that's what the gentleman there said. All right, so yes, if nobody experiences conflict, that means everybody has the same thoughts, the same views, and life would just be very boring. Now I want to talk about the bad side of conflict, right? So you may have experienced bullying, you may have experienced an argument with friends, you know, an argument with the teacher, you may have experienced your friends not letting you play a game with them, okay? All of this is examples of conflict, right? So now I want us to look at this quick PowerPoint presentation. Don't worry, you guys don't have to take down any notes or anything. This will be printed out and handed to you later, okay? But before we get to that, a quick scenario, right? Just to see what you guys have understood so far. So if I say that Sam and Jack, right? Two friends, okay, good boys in the class. They are out on break, and one person says that, I don't know, Superman is the best hero. The other person says Batman. Right, it's a disagreement, great, nothing wrong with it. And they start arguing their points, you know? Then the one person, let's say Sam, says that, no, you're wrong, and gets angry, right? And starts fighting and arguing and getting overheated with the situation. This turns into a problem. This turns into a bad example of conflict, right? Now, there are ways to prevent this. There are ways to solve this. Who can give me an example of how we can prevent this scenario? Okay, that's a good answer, right? So the gentleman in the back says that they are arguing about something that they shouldn't be arguing about, okay? They should just talk and be friends, right? So what we can learn from that is, yes, you can have a discussion, you can have an argument, you can have a disagreement, right? You can have different views, but how you express that view is the important part, right? So the two boys can have the argument as friendly as possible, okay? Nobody has to get overheated, nobody has to get angry just because people have different views, okay? I want you guys to understand that. Let's take another example. Let's say a boy bullies a girl, right? For whatever reason, let's just say that she's short and he picks on her, okay? This is a bad example of conflict. Now, how do we solve this problem? What should the girl do? Right, okay, talk to a teacher, great. Talk to your parents, good, right. What if I said the girl should fight back? Is that a good example? Is that a good way to deal with the problem? Good. That's not a good way to deal with the problem, guys. Good. So I can see that all of you already have an understanding of good and bad, and that's what this topic is about, right? Understanding good ways to deal with something and bad ways to deal with it, right? So we will continue with that later in the lesson. Now let me show you guys the PowerPoint quickly. Okay guys, this is our PowerPoint on conflict, right? So the first slide, don't worry, this is just some quick information. Has our definition of conflict, right? Has examples of conflict, and also has methods to resolve it, okay? So 3 important things, we will discuss that later. And then we have strategies to avoid conflict, so to prevent the problem entirely. Now, I just want you to focus on this top part here, right? It says prevention is better than cure, right? I'm just going to stop there. Prevention is better than cure. Who agrees with me when I say that a person gets cancer, right? And he has to go for surgery and operations, and right, it's a very, very difficult process, right? And it's a very serious condition. Who believes me if I say that if the person doesn't smoke, exercises regularly, eats healthy foods, they wouldn't get sick? Okay, good, right? That's a nice way of prevention. Prevention is always a better way than a cure, okay? So we will look at the cure part, which is how to resolve conflict, because it's going to happen, right? At some point or the other, some of us are going to experience bad conflicts, okay? But we don't always have to get into that conflict. So we are also going to learn ways to prevent conflict from happening. A few ways we can do this is to be kind, to be respectful, you know, to voice our opinions in a nice way, okay? And we will look at all of that as the lesson progresses. Okay guys, now I want you to get ready as we carry on in the lesson.